The date is December 10th, 2012, and it is Meta Monday here in your daily dose of D&D. Hey guys, my name is Matt Wonky here with your daily dose of D&D. Today is Meta Monday, where I talk a little bit about channel news, but then about player and DM interactions. For the channel, today is going to try and be a one-take episode because I just went to Subway because I got my car fixed, and I'm going to eat a sandwich as soon as I'm done recording this video. So I'm going to try and do it as quickly as possible. I don't remember what I talked about last week. I know I had said something about trying to do a theme, but I think I'm going to pass on that. Today, for the players' side, we're going to be talking about being ready to play. Looking forward to D&D is something that I do a lot. Every week, I look forward to Thursday because I love playing with my group. It's a lot of fun. The stories are really cool. I'm playing a very fun character right now, and it's really great to be able to play D&D, and I try to go prepared and arrive on time. Arriving on time is a hard thing for gamers. We're normally late people because we've got things going on, we've got internets to check, we've got food to buy, we just got off of work normally, and it's just kind of difficult for us to go and congregate at the same time. And when we get there, we want to talk and tell each other about, because we haven't seen each other for a week, we're all friends playing at the table. And so it makes it so that we normally start our campaign very late, and we end up not being able to get through as much as we would like, and that's not a good thing. So there are things that we can do as players to make it so that when we get to D&D, we're more ready and able to play. First of all, first thing I can think of is stay in contact with your group. You know, hang out with them at times other than playing D&D, so that when you guys do get together, there isn't as much to talk about, and you guys can start playing more bastardly. Another thing that you can do is make sure you have your materials ready. You know, have your dice really easy to get to, have your character sheet really easy to get to. We normally leave ours at the table, and then it's really hard trying to figure out exactly whose character is who. But having those character sheets really easy to access is an important thing. Another good thing that you can do, not necessarily to arrive, but to help things move along, is to know your character. We have a couple people who just don't have the time to make their characters, so other people have made them for them. And it takes a while for them to really understand what's going on with their character. And they tend to have powers and stuff that can be used in circumstances that they don't know about, because they haven't read through their page, and they don't know what their character can do. And a couple people at our table are fairly new, and so you can kind of understand why they aren't able to do this as well. But for the people who have been playing for a while, they need to know what's going on. And one of the things that I do is I constantly go through all of my powers, because I use the Wizard's Character Builder. It gives me a nice printout of all my powers on little cards. So I can go through and know, well, I've used that, I have this. And so on other people's turns, I'm going through and trying to figure out. Partially it's a little bit because of my class, because as a bard, I have to pay attention to other people's turns. But even for non-bards, it's important for people to look and see what's going on with their character. And when things come up, there's a lot of immediate reaction type things are always great powers to take, because it allows you a free attack on your turn, essentially, or on someone else's turn, and that's always way cool. For food, I know there's fooding different groups is always kind of a weird thing. It's not very polite to just order food while the DM's trying to talk. If you need to order food, do it before you get there, or before we actually start the game. I know a couple of times we've sat down and tried to order pizza or whatever, and it's just slowed everything down and taken forever for us to get to start. So stop by somewhere. You know, as a gamer and as a DM, I personally believe that it is better if you are 15 minutes late and arrive than if you spend and arrive with your food and without that hassle, than if you spend 20 minutes having been there on time ordering food. Of, you know, the actual deciding what you guys want, making the call, and getting the food. That adds up to about 20 minutes, whereas you could have stopped by someplace on your way over. If you have any materials that the DM had asked you to bring about your character, I know my Rasputin is going to have a sketchbook of some visions that he's seen, though I haven't done that yet. If you have anything like that, those are always good to bring. And any real homework that the DM's given you, backstories that you need to do, character goals and motivations, any paper the DM hands you that he wants an answer back, that should be done, and it's better if it gets done outside of D&D. I know before I have requested backstories, and most of them were sent to me via email, so that I could concoct. When the DM asks for stuff, it's because he wants to involve your character with the campaign. And he can't do that if he doesn't have that information, and if you don't have a good grasp on your character. Finally, an important thing that happens with our group is know where your little miniature is. If you have your own set of miniatures and you take yours home, have him ready with your character. All in all, just remember that other people are there for the experience as well, and not just you. And when you take time, it's taking time not just from yourself, that, you can always justify using up your own time, but using up someone else's time is a little bit criminal, and you probably shouldn't do it. So be prepared when you go to play D&D. Welcome to your DM's Corner. It's still Meta Monday, talking about the interactions between DMs and players. We're not actually going to be talking about starting on time or anything like that. We're going to be talking about an experience that happened to my friend when he played D&D this week. He was in in his campaign, he and a couple other people were fighting a bunch of pirates, which is cool. Pirates, everything is better with pirates, is a quote that my mom thinks I love to say a lot, and I do. It's a fun quote. But everything is better with pirates. So there's all these pirates, and they've got powerful weapons, and they're destroying the group. And the group just can't fight. There's like 6 pirates on the one defender, and the 2 leaders are down, and the striker's down, and the group lost, and they weren't having any fun. That wasn't actually this week. It was the week before. They had just lost, and it wasn't any fun for them. And this last week, they found out it was because they were supposed to lose. It was a scripted loss. And they were a little bit peeved by that, and I could understand. I personally, in one of my campaigns, in my Epic Tier campaign, we had it wasn't necessarily a scripted loss, but the villain wore plot armor. There wasn't really anything that they could do that would kill him, because I didn't want him to die at that point. He still had a little bit more for the players to do, a way to lead the players to some place. And he couldn't do that if he was caught or killed or captured. And so he had to just be able to get away. And it was very unfair to the players, because they unleashed a huge arsenal of stuff. And it just wasn't, and then from there, they had suddenly 4 encounters where they had to effectively fight 2 dragons. And had they known that they should not unleash this arsenal on this guy, well, they wouldn't have, and he would have been able to run away on his turn anyway. And so it's important when you're using plot armor and plot devices and scripted fights that you let your players know. I mean, there's times where it's good for the story, where, hey, there's a bunch of pirates and you're being overrun, or, they want to kill this one guy, or whatever exactly goes with your story. It's fine for a fight to be scripted sometimes, or for a guy to wear plot armor. But when it's obvious, and when it's being dragged out, when they've unleashed arsenal after arsenal on the one guy, or when there is just an endless swarm of ninja pirate with guns, or whatever exactly you're fighting, sometimes the players start to get a little bit antsy, and they hate the fact that they're playing D&D, because it doesn't seem to be doing anything, and they can't win, especially as it happened to my friend, when their dice isn't working with them, and they think that they're losing not because they're supposed to lose, but because they're just being unlucky. And that's one of the worst feelings that a player can get, that the dice hate them. And yeah, once you have a bad dice night for everybody, it's just a horrible night in general. And so there are times, and I would definitely not just say every time, but when people start attacking, or say, go to use a daily or whatever, if you're watching and paying attention and thinking about this possibility, say, I wouldn't use dailies on him. Or tell them that, hey, if you need to, say, hey, this is a scripted fight. You guys are going to fight valiantly. You kill a bunch of pirates, and then you're captured. There's no way around it. I have to just railroad the story. And it's, as a DM, saying that kind of means that we failed. That we haven't told the story up to par. That it just makes, it's a shortcut for DMing to just say, look, it's going to happen like this. But as long as you have other awesome stuff planned, oh man, does it save so much time and energy when the people are throwing tons of effort onto this guy. They don't want to hear that all of it was wasted. And when they're fighting, and spending round after round after round fighting these ninja pirate things, whatever exactly they were, they don't want to fight that. Combat is one of the most boring parts of D&D. I will stick to that claim. People can argue about it in the comments below, and please do, because I love comments. But I believe that when the combat's going on, it's boring. Because you roll a number, and you add it to a number, and you add different numbers and see if that number matches another number? Does it? No? Okay. Or yes, add numbers. It doesn't mean anything, these numbers, and we're just swamped with them. And so, depending on, how good of a DM you are, maybe your players find the actual combat a little bit more interesting. But for the most part, your players won't like combat, and they definitely don't like combat that they can't win. I've done a couple of those. Just never-ending combat, and it's not fun at all for anybody. A lot of the fun in D&D comes from role-playing and the players being able to make decisions. When they're locked in a combat encounter, there's no decisions. It's only which power do I use. Pretty soon you're down to just at-wills, and then you don't even get to make a power choice, and that's pretty ridiculous. So remember, if your players start looking like they hate the game, maybe it's time for you to say, okay, you guys, you wrap up the encounter. It's hard fought. Everyone spend a healing, have to spend a healing surge, maybe, if you want to actually, go that far to have them feel exhausted, and have the battle be over, so that they know that, okay, now it's time for us to move on to the story. We've got this boring battle scene that probably had some weird, montage with, eerie music. That's out of the way. Now we get to go to the meat of the story and have things start moving again. So that's my DM's thought for you today. Remember that it's okay to kill what you're doing, if it lets everything grow forward more. There's better words for it. It is better to cull the outcast encounters from your herd of awesome campaigness, so that the entire flock can survive. That was a horrible analogy, but I'm sticking with it. Closing remarks today, I did it mostly in one take. There were a couple of pauses that I had to cut out, but those are totally fine and acceptable and easy to find. Thank you guys for coming and joining me with this daily dose of D&D. If you honestly like this video, hit the like button down below. If you like getting a daily dose of D&D, go click on the subscribe button, whether they're hiding it up top or down below, and I'll come to your mailbox every day like a breakfast sub that's smells so good and doesn't cost too much. If you know anyone who needs to see this video, hit the share button down below, or go all the way up to the address bar, grab the address, and pass it to them however you do pass things. My name is Mad Matt Wankow. It has been a pleasure serving you Meta Monday on your daily dose of D&D. You guys stay online, and I will see you next time.